Hello everybody, happy Thursday. It's March 5th, 2020. I'm Stephanie Haney. This is 3 News Now, where we give you a look at your top headlines on WKYC.com and our WKYC app. We're really covering everything today. We've got national political news for you, a little bit of health, a little bit of travel, some sports, and then we've got some entertainment for you that we're going to end things on for you today. First up, we're going to take a look at the national stage. Senator Elizabeth Warren dropping out of the Democratic primary race. And of course, everyone is very concerned about the coronavirus. That's on the top of everyone's mind. We have some travel advice that will hopefully put your minds at rest just a little bit there. And also a little bit of information about the 2020 Arnold Classic convention being postponed. More information as to exactly why that happened. It is related to the coronavirus. Testing of the coronavirus, not any potential outbreaks or anything like that here in Ohio, but looking towards prevention more so. And if you're super annoyed about all those unwanted, unknown calls coming to your phone, the Ohio Attorney General is ramping up things to try and help us take care of that. In entertainment news, a local feature of the area that you probably know about, the Franklin Castle, which is known for being haunted, is going to be featured on the Travel Channel today. For all the Hocus Pocus fans out there, we've got information about Hocus Pocus 2. It's been greenlit. We'll tell you what we know about that. And our friend Roker, who you see on the Today Show every day, we have him coming back to town in April. He's going to be joining our chief meteorologist, Betsy Kling, at an event at the University of Akron. We'll tell you what we know about that. If any of these stories pique your interest while we're going through this, you can just text the word NOW to 216-344-3300, and you can get links to all of these stories right there. Again, text the word NOW to 216-344-3300, and you'll be able to get links to all of those stories right there. And as we're watching, please feel free to weigh in with your comments about the stories as we're talking about them. Let me know where you're watching from. Say hello. We love interacting with you all in the comments. Talk to each other, get to know each other. That's what this is all about, right? All right, we're going to start with the national stage. Senator Elizabeth Warren has dropped out of the 2020 presidential race. She broke the news to her staff this morning on a phone call. Here's a quote from Elizabeth Warren. "This campaign became something special, and it wasn't because of me, it was because of you. I am so proud of how you all fought this fight alongside me," of course speaking to her supporters there. Here's what she said on the phone call with those staffers. "I know that when we set out, this was not the call you ever wanted to hear. It is not the call I ever wanted to make. But I refuse to let disappointment blind me or you to what we've accomplished. We didn't reach our goal, but what we have done together, what you have done, has made a lasting difference." Warren being very appreciative of her staff there, even though the outcome was not what her staffers wanted in this case. So she dropped out after a disappointing performance on Super Tuesday, finishing third in her home state of Massachusetts, not getting as many delegates as the people she's been running against, former Vice President Joe Biden, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. New York City Mayor Mike Bloomberg, former New York City Mayor, also not performing as he wanted to. He didn't win any of the states on Super Tuesday, but he did win the territory of American Samoa. Not enough delegates for him to stay in the race, he said, as a mathematical possibility, just not possible for him to win the nomination. With that, so he endorsed Vice President Joe Biden. Senators Amy Klobuchar and Mayor Pete Buttigieg also dropped out of the race. That was actually before Super Tuesday. They have also endorsed Joe Biden. Warren, however, is holding out. She's not ready to make a public endorsement yet. If she's made that decision, she's keeping that to herself at this time. And with Warren dropping out, that just leaves one remaining female candidate, the representative for Hawaii, Tulsi Gabbard. So she continues to run alongside Biden and Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. Just as a reminder to you, Super Tuesday is such a big deal because on Super Tuesday, 1/3 of the delegates are awarded based on the 14 states that hold their primary election on Super Tuesday. And any single delegate has to get 1,991 votes in order to win the Democratic nomination outright. So we'll be seeing how that race shapes up now that Warren is no longer a part of it. Tulsi Gabbard, however, is staying in alongside Biden and Bernie Sanders. More national news. If you are considering traveling and you are concerned about the coronavirus, we spoke with a travel agent. We've got that story on WKYC.com and the WKYC app, who says you shouldn't be concerned unless you have particular areas in your travel plans. A lot of people thinking about this with spring break coming up. Spring break starting for Cleveland State on March 8th, starting for Kent State University and the University of Akron a little bit later on March 23rd. And Kent State is one of the schools who has canceled sponsored trips to both Italy and Vietnam, as well as calling back students who have been studying abroad. So AAA East Tennessee Representative Stephanie Haney says if you're going to certain places, those are the only places where travel is interrupted. Other places are fine. So according to the Centers for Disease Control and the U.S. State Department, these are the places where travelers should avoid trips: China, Iran, Italy, and South Korea. The State Department also recommends caution for anyone traveling, not using the language of avoiding trips, but using the language of caution for travel to Macau, Hong Kong, Japan, and also asking travelers to avoid cruises to Asia. So if you have booked a cruise and it's not to one of these areas, don't be concerned. They will be checking your health before you board the cruise. That is actually a normal precautionary measure aboard a cruise, but some additional measures that cruise lines will be taking now is they'll be asking you about your recent travel. So if you've been to China or Italy in the last several weeks, that's going to raise a little bit of concern. They're going to want to watch you more closely before they let you board that cruise. If you have air travel coming up, this will hopefully also ease some of your concerns a little bit. The CDC says that an infected person on an airplane should not infect everyone on board that airplane if someone is on a plane with you that does happen to have the coronavirus. The CDC says there is a, quote, moderate risk to anyone within a few seats of the infected person. We do have a story on this on WKYC.com and the WKYC app. There's a graphic there so you can see exactly what they mean about a person who's seated within a few seats of someone who is infected, so you can get an idea about that. Now, another thing that people keep thinking about right now with concerns about the coronavirus is travel insurance. So that AAA representative has said you need to be mindful of what travel insurance actually covers. Travel insurance is valuable in certain situations, but if you're just nervous about travel and it's not necessarily related to something like a terrorist attack or an outbreak at your destination or at your point of origin, travel insurance is not necessarily going to protect you in those cases. However, if you are concerned about travel and it's not related to one of those things, something you may want to try doing if you do want to reschedule some flights is contacting your airline directly, because some of the major airlines are waiving change fees, so it's worth a shot. Give them a call if you're really concerned about travel. But the CDC is saying, unless you're in one of these places where an outbreak is happening, not necessarily needing to avoid travel altogether. Okay, speaking more about the coronavirus and travel, the Arnold Classic was set to take place this weekend in Columbus. It's a huge event. It draws upwards of 250,000 people internationally, but Arnold Schwarzenegger made the decision to cancel the exposition portion of that, so that's the trade show and all of the educational features, while the competitions are still happening. So the bodybuilding and the strongman competition is still happening. We're learning a little bit more today about what was behind that decision. So it turns out federal officials were having difficulty getting testing kits to the city of Columbus. At least one testing kit that was sent here was faulty. So in order to test people that maybe were showing symptoms of coronavirus, if there was concern in the city with all of these people coming to town and being in one concentrated area, mainly at the Greater Columbus Convention Center in downtown Columbus, if they wanted to test someone, they would have had to take that test kit, send it to Atlanta. The results would have been delayed for days, effectively making the results inconsequential because the event runs from today through Sunday, so just a couple of days there. So according to the Columbus Dispatch, when Columbus health officials asked to be able to do their own testing, state officials denied that request. But as we said, the bodybuilding and strongman competitions are still happening, and spectators will be allowed on a limited basis. So if you are a parent of a child competing, you are able to attend the events that your child is competing in. You're going to have to actually have proof that you are the parent or guardian of that child. And these are the events that are open to spectators on Friday. This will be at the Battelle Grand at the Columbus Convention Center from 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. You'll be able to see the Fitness International Finals, the Figure International Finals, the Women's Physique Finals, and the Classic Physique Finals. And on Saturday, spectators will be allowed from 7 to 10 p.m., again in the Battelle Grand at the Columbus Convention Center. They'll be able to catch the men's physique finals, the Arnold Classic finals, the Arnold Strongman Classic, and the Bikini International finals. And if that was quick for you, again, you can find that article on WKYC.com and the WKYC app with a little bit more detail there, along with the statement from the governor. Speaking of our officials here, the Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost has announced the formation of a Robocall Enforcement Unit and a new tool for people to report calls from these robocallers that they don't want to receive. I know I'm sick of my phone blowing up with unknown numbers. Here's the staggering number for you. Ohioans got an estimated 2.2 billion robocalls in 2019. Now, in a day where people don't even want their friends to call them, that's pretty invasive, right? You know, we're used to just texting our friends. If you get an unexpected phone call from someone, it's kind of alarming. And if you get a phone call from an unknown number, that can be really alarming for people. So the state of Ohio is trying to take action there. This is part of Yost's consumer protection section. This is made up of attorneys and investigators. There's also a new way that you can report robocalls. If you text the word robo, R-O-B-O, to 888-111, you can answer a set of questions and file a complaint about a robocall. There's also a website and a phone number that you can call. The Ohio Attorney General also offers this advice. Just don't answer the unwanted calls. Of course, that's not going to stop your phone necessarily from ringing, but that is a tip. Here's a tip that I've read elsewhere too that you might want to try out. I haven't tried this out yet, so I can't verify that it works 100%, but it seems like it would make sense. If you answer the phone call and put your phone on mute, I'm told that it registers your phone number as a dead line and you shouldn't get phone calls from that robocaller anymore. So I definitely think with all the phone calls we're getting, it's worth trying. Bringing it back to our local area here in Cleveland, if you're familiar with the Franklin Castle, which is a local haunt, so to say, it's going to be featured in an episode of Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures today. So, if you're familiar with the show, the lead investigator, Zach Baggins, said as soon as he walked into the Franklin Castle, he started having experiences like that immediately, and that they caught so much evidence of this ghostly behavior in just a couple of hours, and it would normally take a regular paranormal investigator a couple of days to get the kind of action that they caught evidence of. So that's definitely going to be a good watch if you want to catch that today on the Travel Channel. Franklin Castle, if you don't know, it's called one of Ohio's most haunted homes. It was built in the 1800s. It's in the Ohio City neighborhood here in Cleveland. And it's said to have multiple ghosts running around there, if you believe in ghosts. So it's said to have started when 15-year-old Emma Tiedemann actually died inside the house. So her spirit is said to be one of the spirits walking around. People see her supposedly in the hallways. They refer to her as the girl in white. Also, her mother, Mrs. Tiedemann, is rumored to be able to see her, staring out the castle's windows. And the room where she died, which was in 1895, has been nicknamed the Cold Room. We actually got a chance here at 3 News to tour the Franklin Castle, and if you want to check that out, there's a link to that on the article on the website as well. That was back in October, so you can check out its secret passages. If you want to get an inside look of the Franklin Castle and you're maybe not so excited about potentially hanging out with ghosts, that's an option for you. For people who are fans of ghosts, though, and you love that kind of entertainment, you might be excited to know that Hocus Pocus 2 has officially been greenlit. A director has been confirmed. Adam Shankman will be the director. He's also going to direct a sequel to Enchanted called Disenchanted, so he'll be working on both films. We're not exactly sure which one of those films is going to go into production first, but those are both coming out. Shankman made the announcement on his Instagram page, and he wrote, "Thanks with all my heart, Disney. Looks like I'll be working on a lot of magic for a while." If you're not familiar with Shankman's work, he is the director of things including Hairspray, Rock of Ages, A Walk to Remember, obviously that's a classic, we all love Mandy Moore, right? The Wedding Planner, and he was also a judge for 8 seasons on the reality TV show So You Think You Can Dance. So now he'll be taking it back to the silver screen with Hocus Pocus 2 and Disenchanted. Speaking of big names working on things, Al Roker is coming back to town. He's going to be speaking at at the University of Akron's E.J. Thomas Hall. That's in April. And he will also be accompanied by featured speaker, our very own chief meteorologist, 3 News' Betsy Kling. This is a lecture focusing on value and ethics. So this is with one of the Greek organizations there. They're putting this on. It's according to a press release from the University of Akron. The goal of the lecture is to establish a venue on college campuses where values and ethics can be discussed in an open format. So that's going to be on April 2nd. Those tickets are $10. And if for some reason you're not familiar with Al Roker, you know he's Mr. Weather on the Today Show, and he did once work with us here at Cleveland at 3 News. And you also still see him sometimes on our Go Morning Show with Holly Strano, Maureen Kyle, and Dave Chudowski. All right, that's going to do it for us today for 3 News Now. We appreciate you being a part of the live stream. If you don't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/user/WKYCTV. If you found us somewhere else, you can also follow our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/WKYC.channel3. You can always reach out to me directly. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at _Stephanie Haney. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/TheStephanieHaney. And just one more reminder, if you want more information on any of the stories we talked about today, you can find those links in an article on WKYC.com and our WKYC app. You can text the word NOW to 216-344-3300. Also, if you don't have our app downloaded, you're going to want to do that. You can text the word app to that same phone number, and you'll get the links to download our app, and then you can get a push notification when we go live with 3 News Now, and also when we have content that we want to make sure that you see right away. Thanks very much, guys. I'm Stephanie Haney. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a great Thursday.